Okay, everybody, welcome to the Property Subcommittee meeting on Monday, the 2nd of September 2024. So I'll thank everybody for appearing. I think we're all here in person today who are here. So do we have any apologies or any substitute? Adam?
Yeah, thanks, convener. We have apologies this morning from Bailey Ahern, but we have Councillor John Duff substituting. I think Councillor Duff has just joined us, so just ask him to confirm if he can hear us.
I can, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, John. Councillor Peter Barrett, there's no sign of him yet, so he may be having technical issues. We'll just need to wait and see.
Okay, thanks for that. Do we have any declarations of interest on the item of business that we have coming in front of us today? Don't see or hear any declarations of interest. So we'll move on to the minutes of the meeting of Property Subcommittee of the 23rd of April 2024 for approval. Can we agree these minutes? Thank you. So we'll move on to the item of business now, which is item 4.
Could I just ask if the matter arising from the minutes? I think it is relevant. Obviously, it's P2, disposal of Crieff Primary School. Clearly, that's taken as private business. It's exempt. All I just want to ask of council officers is, it was just over 4 months ago, what progress that we're making on this project. And I think it's one that's particularly of relevance to people in Crieff, since, like myself, probably a majority of people from the mid-20s upwards went to Crieff Primary School. Thank you.
Ashley, do you have any comment or update that you can give?
I do, yeah. Since the last property sub-meeting, we instructed, it was a joint instruction, both the council and Drummond Estates, who are the owner of the other title there at the primary school. So we've instructed external solicitors, Tate & Connell, to act on both of our parties' behalves in the disposal. They have basically got all the information that they require from ourselves and from Drummond, and we have now instructed a deadline for conclusion of missives as 31st of October 2024, and that's obviously to try and keep things moving along. So the party who have submitted their offer, if they are not serious, that will kind of flush them out. If they are serious, they'll be looking to conclude missives by the 31st of October, and then they'll have 6 months on from there in which to seal the deal, as it were. So that's progress.
Can I just ask as a supplementary? Thank you, Ashley. That's obviously deadline 31st October, 8-9 weeks, but we do indeed have for you to confirm that there are potential alternatives for the future redevelopment of this site. Yeah.
That's right. Well, if the offerer, fail to come good on the offer, if they don't conclude missives by the 31st of October, or if they do, but then don't progress to the purchase by 6 months off from that date, we'll be handing housing. The housing strategy team are looking at this from point of view of conversion into affordable or social housing. So that would be the plan B, ready to go if the offer falls through.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Ashley. So we'll move on to item 4, which is the disposal of a residential property at 1 Inverarver Cottages, Glenlyon, Aberfeldy. And I'm thinking maybe Ashley is going to lead on this, or maybe Catherine.
Well, I think it would be me, actually. I wrote the paper. So housing instructed us to sell this property. Elaine is there to keep me right on all the reasons for that, which are listed in the paper. Surplus to requirements, one of the main problems being the lack of reliable water supply, which has been significantly looked into by the Caledonia Housing Association, who own the nearby properties. And it was kind of concluded that this wasn't really it seemed to be cost prohibitive for them, and as we only owned the one property, we didn't really have a huge amount of say in that. So decision has been taken it was made surplus in January, and it will go to auction in October if gains approval.
Thanks, Catherine. And I think there's quite a lot of documentation that we had in the papers there to validate exactly what your conclusion was. So I'll ask members, do they have any questions on this paper? Councillor Cuthbert.
Thank you, Convener. In terms of housing in the countryside in that area, do we have any other properties that people could go into if they required a council house, or is this the only one that's available?
That to Elaine to answer that.
Yeah. Elaine, please.
Thanks, Convener. Are you talking about in terms of the area? This is the only council house we've got in this particular area, but in small hamlets around this area, we've got other council housing property, and there was no demand for this property as well when it did come up for allocation. So there's not an issue here.
Thanks. Supplementary, Councillor Cuthbert.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just if somebody in the immediate vicinity of Inverbar decided to ask for a council house, where would they go? Or how far would it be roughly?
It would just depend on what we have available at that time. We would sit down with that individual and do housing options with them and look at all the options that were available and work with them dependent on which area they needed housing. It might not just be council housing, it might be within a housing association or the private sector. So dependent on the individual circumstances.
Thanks. Do we have any questions? Councillor Donaldson.
Thank you, Convener. Could I just ask, probably Elaine, it's a position with Caledonia Housing Association here. The cost of the borehole, there's quite a wide variance, is estimated anywhere between just under 8,000 and just under 30,000. But even if you took with, I'm not sure the 3 or the 4 properties that they have and ours, that we'd probably be talking of a cost on a portion basis of 5,000 to 6,000 per property, and that would actually, one would have thought, would boost the sale value, even if we were to proceed to sell. So can I just ask, what's the issues with Caledonian, and is it just that it's not something we can resolve? Thanks.
Elaine.
Yeah, so the issue with the borehole, that is an approximate, but that doesn't include compliance and maintenance, which would probably increase that cost as well. We've done quite a lot with CHA Caledonia regarding that, and they're now looking to sell their 3 properties as well because of the cost that's incurring as a result of the issue with the water. So it's something that we've explored, and I don't think we could keep exploring it given the demand that we've got for housing within Perth and Kinross.
Okay, so it's just that it's a question of officers' time and there's no immediate solution on this. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that all this has been explored by the officers and the details are in there. So, John, Councillor Duff.
Thanks, Convener. Yeah, I think there are actually 7 properties that are affected by the water supply, and it is, I don't think, I had some involvement with the previous tenants. I don't think the water has been drinkable at all for a considerably long time. My question was in relation to the sale of the property. If you'll see, there is the house and grounds, but there's also a piece of ground across the road from the house, and I wonder if we would consider selling these separately and whether that would give us a better price.
Catherine, is that for you or is it for Elaine?
Well, we did discuss it briefly, and because I know there was some interest for potentially maybe parking spaces up there, but we did take instructions from housing just to include it. So sorry, I didn't investigate that huge amount further. I mean, it is quite a small plot. I mean, on the plan there, it does look to be actually slightly bigger than the plot that the actual cottage is on, but it is quite a tight plot that the cottage is on. So it's, I don't know of how much. I really don't think it would attract a huge amount of interest on its own. Constructing anything there, if you got planning, would be very difficult. And I think we kind of viewed it Elaine and I discussed it, it probably increased the attraction of the actual cottage to have that across the road. If we took that off, it would make the cottage even less attractive. I mean, it's a strange piece of ground. It's kind of higher level and surrounded by stones. I think it might have just been a sort of garden at some point in time. Don't think it was ever used as parking.
Yes, I think they did use it for some kind of gardening over there. But I just wondered if it felt that at auction there might be the option to separate it if that was you know, if people were interested in doing it that way. That was all.
No, it's a very good question. But I think that probably the cottage would then be even smaller site. We didn't get anyone to look at it particularly, but just, you know, the discussions that we had about it, that we didn't think it was really worth splitting the title, which would also involve legals, etc.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Don't see any other questions, so I'm happy to move the paper as it is, with the recommendations that we set. The property goes for sale by auction, and then item 2, that if it fails to sell at auction, it will be remarketed for sale. Again, either auction or on the open market. So I move that to have a seconder.
I'm happy to second that motion.
Can we agree the paper? Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming along today, and thanks for the work officers have done on this, and we can go and enjoy the rest of our day. So thank you very much. This concludes the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.